Hi guys, here to read another story. This one's called How to Build a Hug, Temple Grandin and Her Amazing Squeeze Machine. So Temple Grandin is a real person, and we're going to hear a little bit about her childhood, and at the end we'll hear a little note from the author about her adulthood as well. This book was written by Amy and Jacqueline and illustrated by someone named Giselle. How to build a hug. Temple loved folding paper kites, making obstacle courses for her dog, and building lean-tos with real hinged doors. Temple did not like scratchy socks, whistling tea kettles, bright lights, or smelly perfumes. And Temple really didn't like hugs. When other kids looked sad, lonely, or scared, Temple could see that hugs cheered them up. If people were grateful or really happy, they passed out hugs like cookies. And holding your arms out wide usually meant you wanted a great big hug. Temple wanted to be held too. But to her, hugs felt like being stuffed inside the scratchiest sock in the world. If anyone tried to give her a hug, she kicked and screamed and pulled away. At school, Temple wasn't like the other kids. No one understood that when the classroom fan whirred, Temple imagined a dentist drill. That to her, the voices in the loud, stinky cafeteria roared like a jet engine. And the school bell clanged like a woodpecker knocking on her head. To escape the noisy images, Temple fled to the playground swings. Is this reminding you of a character that we've met? Now, Temple's a real person, but I'm kind of making a connection here. Yeah, with Joe from Save Me a Seat. He didn't like noises or loud cafeterias either. To escape the noisy images, Temple fled to the playground swings, where she spun and hummed until the sounds vanished in the breeze. The wound-up swing felt snug and secure. Is this what hugs are supposed to feel like? Temple wanted a real hug, but even when she was safe at home, when her mom leaned down to give her a squeeze, all she saw was a tidal wave of dentist drills, sandpaper, and awful cologne coming at her all at once. Sometimes, when Temple was having a really bad day, she crawled under the sofa cushions and asked her little sister to hop on top. The smush of the heavy pillows felt cozy. Maybe that's how hugs worked. Year after year, Temple filed away images of every hug she came across. The firefighter coming to the rescue with a ladder, and a hug when her neighbor's cat got stuck in a tree. The teary-eyed couple at the train station embracing as the whistle blew. Her little sister wrapping her arms around their mom just because. And once, when Temple was in her front yard building a maze for her pet mouse, she heard a baby wailing like a fire engine and looked up to see a mom swaddling her fussy child in a blanket. As the mom swayed back and forth, the cranky baby instantly hushed. How do hugs do that? When she got older, Temple attended a special boarding school that gave kids like her a chance to grow. Temple made friends, excelled in art and science, won ribbons for her excellent horseback riding, and kept building things like model rockets, a lift for the school's ski slope, and a tiny swinging door for the resident cat to go where it pleased. Around her, Temple saw families hug goodbye in September and hug hello in June. Temple missed her mom too, but she just couldn't express her feelings the same way. Would she ever get a hug? At the end of the school year, Temple was invited to spend the summer at her aunt's ranch in Arizona. Temple kept busy drawing and painting, reading books about inventors, and fixing things around the farm. She even made a machine that opened and closed the ranch's heavy front gate. In the yard, Temple trotted the horses and fed the baby goats, letting them push up against her hands as they nuzzled for bottles of milk. She watched newborn calves take their first wobbly steps and noticed how they flinched when tickled by flies, just like she did when people tried to touch her. On the day of the calves' first checkup, Temple heard frantic mooing and raced outside to see what the matter was. A ranch hand was leading a skittish young cow into a mysterious device. A ranch hand is a helper or a worker on the ranch. Her aunt explained that the squeeze chute helped cows stay calm during vet exams. Temple watched as the man pressed a lever, releasing the sides that cradled the animal in a snug embrace. Almost immediately, the nervous calf stopped its lowing and stood perfectly still. And suddenly, Temple had an idea. She ran to the barn and quickly sketched a plan. She took measurements and sawed planks. She found a spool of wire, a rusty pulley, a length of string, and some cushions from an old chair. Would they do what she wanted? I wonder what her idea is. Temple called for her aunt to come see. Then she crept inside her creation and pulled on the string to let the sides slip around her. Temple smiled. The loud noises disappeared. The air smelled fresh, and the bright sunshine felt wonderful. What is their creation? It's a snuggle apparatus, said her aunt. It's a squeeze-a-majiggy, said her uncle. It's a squish box, said the ranch hand. It's a hug machine, thought Temple. Temple brought her invention back home at the end of the summer. Every time she felt nervous or scared, she slid inside for a cuddle. But after a while, she began to use the machine less and less, and then almost not at all. Then one day, her machine broke, and she knew that only one thing could cheer her up. A hug. I'm into hugging people now. Temple Grandin. Here's a note from the author, so I'm going to read that to you. It's going to give us a little bit more information on Temple as an adult and throughout the rest of her life. Author's note: I use my mind to solve problems and invent things. That's a quote from Temple Grandin. Dr. Temple Grandin is a professor of animal science at Colorado State University and a leading advocate for the humane treatment of animal livestock. Temple is also known the world over for her courage in speaking out about her personal experience with autism. Temple was born in Boston, Massachusetts in 1947, at a time when little was understood about autism. She didn't speak until she was 4 years old, and even as she grew up, spoken and written languages remained difficult for her. Temple also displayed extreme hypersensitivity to sounds and smells. But touch, for Temple was the worst. Small itches and scratches that most people ignored were torture, like sandpaper rubbing my skin raw. And giving or getting a hug was impossible. As a child, I craved to feel the comfort of being held, but I would pull away when people hugged me. When hugged, an overwhelming tidal wave of sensation flowed through me. What came much easier for Temple, in fact, what came at lightning speed, was an advanced ability to think in pictures. Everything Temple saw, snap, became a picture in her head that she could recall in vivid detail. Cheered on by her supportive mother to use her visual thinking to the fullest, Temple loved to draw, paint, sew, and build just about anything, from model airplanes and elaborate kites to lean-tos in the woods behind her house. This was Temple's art and her main way of expressing what made her unique. As Temple told us, art was always encouraged in our home. Art was what saved me. Kids need the arts. Temple also felt a soothing connection with animals whenever she was around them. She grew up with pet dogs and cats, and even had a pet mouse named Crusader. At the private school she attended in New Hampshire, she took care of the school's stable of horses and became an award-winning rider. Her love for animals inspired her mother to suggest that Temple spend a summer living with her aunt on her large cattle ranch in Arizona. Temple's experience helping to care for the cattle there laid the foundation for her pioneering work in animal behavior. Cows understand me, and I understand them, she realized. When Temple invented her hug machine at her aunt's ranch, what she really discovered was that when she was in charge of the timing and the pressure of a squeeze, hugs felt wonderful. Temple perfected her hug machine when she returned to school that fall, and like a good scientist, she invited other students to try it out and test its effectiveness. Temple used her hug machine for years. When it finally broke, she realized she didn't need it anymore. Temple's story is as unique as she is, and the legacy of her hug machine lives on. Some therapeutic programs for people with autism incorporate deep touch pressure therapy using devices based on Temple's original designs. As an advocate for people on the autism spectrum, especially children, Temple now travels the globe giving out hugs and inspiring others to embrace what makes them different. Autism is a part of who I am, she says. From the authors. The end. So I just wanted to say a brief thing to you guys before I sign out here. Just like Joe, when we learned about his auditory processing disorder, here we learned a little bit about Temple and her childhood and adulthood and how she became successful. So Temple, as we heard in the end of the story, had autism, which is something that you are born with, and it affects how your brain works, and it can make it difficult for some people to talk or understand others. Sometimes it makes it difficult to make friends or calm yourself down if you feel worried or stressed. But we see here that Temple was able to be very, very successful in her life, regardless of just learning in a different way. So I really enjoyed this story, and learning about her invention of that hug machine. It's really cool. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it too, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.